ask Susan and Stephen. We're really lucky to have them here. They're going to share a little history that I don't know if everyone knows about DNKL and the connection. So both Stephen and Susan are on the board, as well as myself and Denise, who's not here, Resna, Jennifer Salkin, who else? Janine Hoover, and Laura Garcia are on the board. So I'm going to some cool little tidbits about DNKL. So
This?
Okay,
Know it by heart.
well, I'll make up the stuff, I don't know. Actually, this space was, I've known for about 50 years. I've been coming here, because my aunt used to work for the head of UNICEF in New York, and she got very close to him and his wife. Martha Pate was his wife, and Morris Pate was the head of UNICEF. And this was their summer home, but they would often also use it as a center for bringing together people to discuss ways to promote world peace. And long story short, first Morris Pate died, and then my aunt started spending more time here, and I started spending more time here too, visiting. And then Martha eventually died, and she left this place to my aunt, not as an out-and-out gift, but rather as a space to start a not-for-profit. And she worked for a good 10 years, I think, until about 1995, running this as the Morris Pate Institute for World Peace. And it was, this space was, I should have told you at the beginning, from the very beginning, I've always known this space as God's Stove, which is Old English for God's place. And it's still, in a sense, God's place, but it's been transformed a lot. So after a certain amount of time, my aunt found it just too difficult to run Godstow as the Morris Pate Foundation. So she asked me and Susan to help her find another use for the space. And we interviewed a lot of different people and a lot of really interesting people, some of the most fascinating people in the world. And it was a wonderful experience, but nobody quite worked out until we met, well, Susan had been becoming involved with Tibetan Buddhism at that time. So she suggested that the people that she was working with, learning from, Geshe Michael Roach in New York, and his people might be good people to take it over. And I was not sure, but I wasn't that knowledgeable about Tibetan Buddhism at all. But I met with Geshe Michael and various other people there, and after a while I realized these are the clearest thinking people I've ever met. I don't know what they're doing. So they ended up taking it over, and it was quite wonderful, and I started getting much more involved with Tibetan Buddhism. And then there were some, I won't go into the details, but it became difficult to run it because of financial reasons primarily. And we need also, Geshe Michael was at that point more involved with another space in, I always forget, is
Arizona.
Arizona? Okay, Black Mountain, yeah. Diamond Mountain. Yeah, oh, sorry. Diamond Mountain. Always diamonds. And anyhow, so I'll let Susan take over from there.
So then, so he wasn't very interested in this place at all anymore. So I went to India. So I was going to see the Dalai Lama in Dharamsala. It was so wonderful. And there I saw like thousands of geshes. And I said, well, we need one of you to come to our center because it's falling to bits. And it was really literally, there was no money, nobody was interested. The classes were really small because, there was no person. And I said, we really need a person, and I was on the board. So really, bluntly and out of probably improperly, I just said, I'm just gonna take the reins here and see if I can find somebody to go. And so without the board's approval or anything, I just went and I asked around to see if there might be someone who might be interested, just to get the feeling out. And then I ended up somehow or other in Rinpoche's room with Geshe Darge there translating, and then on my head floor bowing, and I said, are you interested in coming to Connecticut, to be our spiritual director? And he said he would be interested. So I asked the board, I told the board, look what I found. They went, you did what? And they were like, oh my God, you didn't do that. So anyway, they at first were a little bit taken aback, and but then slowly they came around and they said, okay, well, let's go with it. And so we went down. At that point, he had already, it was 6 months later after he accepted. And then we went down, and he was in Washington, D.C. at a center over there, Guya Samaja Center, doing some teachings. And so we all went down, and we got in a big bus, and we went down there, and we gave him the key.
Oh.
And he
I got
accepted.
goosebumps,
Yeah. So then,
Susan, what year was this?
oh, this was 2006.
Oh, so recent.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing that Stephen was telling you,
That
it's
started,
1996, so it was 10 years after we had given it away to the other Buddhist company, and then they didn't, within about 1 year of when we gave it to them, they went and started Diamond Mountain, and they just lost interest. The whole purpose of this place was to be what Diamond Mountain turned out to be, and so they just went that way. So this place was rotting, right? So that's why. And then after that, it was the rest of the story, right? It was wonderful.
You did good, Susan, you did
Yeah,
good.
the one thing I was called, can you mention what DNKL means? Because I can't pronounce it.
Oh yeah, Donglok Kumpenlin?
Yeah, I have it written down. Do you want it?
Oh, no.
Okay, you know. I didn't know, just in case.
Well, it's called that, we translated it as the Tibetan Buddhist Center for Universal Peace, except it doesn't mean that at all. It means Do is Sutra, Ngak is Tantra. So the Sutra and Tantra, and then Kunpen is for the benefit for all. Ling is place which benefits all with the Sutra and the Tantra.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's Tibetan Buddhist Center for Universal Peace, a place where Sutra and Tantra are combined for the good of all.
and I just want to say too, I always, every time I come here, I think about my aunt and what joy that would give her, or what joy maybe it gives her, I don't know.
Not only your aunt, but maybe Morris Pate.
And Morris Pate.
Yeah.
They would be so.
They would be so delighted.
Yes, Martha Pate was actually a philosophy doctorate, doctor of philosophy, and she actually was the president of Sweetbriar College.
Yeah.
And so she was a philosophy teacher, and she knew about Buddhism. I mean, she studied Buddhism. So it's not something she would have loved to know this.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing
That's
that. It's great that they're here, and it's great. Last year they performed music. This this year they're telling us some history. But
Can you imagine what it would be like being married to this person?
I already know she's taking care of the windows and just a short conversation at lunch. So I just want to say a few things to thank you, and also Geshe Darge is in Hong Kong right now with Rinpoche doing some teaching. And then he'll be back for a couple days, and then he's in India, so he can't be here. But thank you so much for being here and for cooking for us and making this a special afternoon. So this is really, yep. So this is our version of appreciation to everyone, and I want to kind of go through. It was interesting for me to kind of reflect back for the year. So first I want to thank our Sangha and all of our guest speakers, those that are not here. And we actually did 265 teachings during 2023 for Buddhists, non-Buddhists, tantric practitioners, including special programs to support Tibetan community and children. So if you count all of the classes that we've done from January, and I counted through this week, 265 teachings. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Yeah, so, thank you. We also have, this center can't continue without our volunteers. And so we have volunteers that help us with permits. We have volunteers that help us get porta potties when we have big events here, and tents. We also have setup and cleanup of larger events. There's sometimes people here at 6 in the morning, helping get ready for events and setting things up. Cooking for events, setting up our new library. You'll be hearing more in the new year. Georgine and others have taken our library, many others that we've had in boxes for years and bags upstairs, and are setting it up downstairs, and it'll be available online. We have the spring and fall cleanup, animal blessing, Tibetan craft fair, and anything else that's needed around the house. Give a call, hey, come over, fix the car, and people are here. So we couldn't keep the center running without the volunteers. And there's also a monetary piece, because we rely entirely on donations to run this nonprofit center. So I wanted to mention, in addition to our monthly donors and our ongoing donations, we did raise $20,000 this year for very much needed repairs. It included re-siding the entire house. We did half the windows. We have some more windows that we need to do. That's what Susan and I were talking about. There's still some chimney repair, but we've made great progress. This is a very old house, and so very, very quickly during Sakadawa, we usually try and collect money for some sort of a charity, or in this year we look to improve the house. But we did raise $25,000 recently for the Sarah Mae Thompson School. This school is in India. It's a school that Geshe Dargay went to. Did you go to? No, okay. And so it's available. All young Tibetan monks need to have a full education in addition to their Dharma practices, and it's all free. And so this school also relies entirely on donations. So we were able just recently in a event that a friend of DNKL had organized. We raised $25,000 for that school, and also funds for Rinpoche students. So all of that contribution, that generosity, not only helps DNKL, but we're also giving back to the community in any way that we can. And then lastly, to all of you, you are an important part of our Dharma Center. I absolutely loved, we had to make a last minute move for our Long Life Prayer today. Apologies that the note didn't come out. But the folks that showed up for it were great. They got in a circle, grabbed a book, and started, doing some teaching, and that's just love. That's just great, and that's what this is all about. And it's been hard during, the COVID time when we weren't together. But I think now we're starting to come more back together and encouraging. But we've also, though, gained a global presence. So we have people that come to our classes from Israel, from Germany, from all over the world now, whether they're listening, on the YouTube channel, or they're able to attend in person. So, both our community here that can come in person, as well as our global community. And really, taking the time in the Dharma practice, we're trying to help the lives of all sentient beings, and to be part of that and that learning. So thanks to all of you, thanks to everything, and thanks to DNKL. And I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir,